Are you guys writing out notes now? You know, it's time to do your homework.
Are you filming right now?
Yeah, I turned it all on.
Oh.
This is what I'm working with, people. My God.
Don't put this in the thing.
Oh, I'm putting this in the thing.
Nope.
French maid outfit.
Oh, wait, guys, we're recording. Anyway, hey, welcome back to the Mountain the Marine. And, what's the...
Note card. Check your note card.
Jason.
Oh, Jason. Oh, and by the way, a special shout out to the Marine and Mrs. Marine for getting us professional-looking note cards. So when we're scrambling to look at our notes, we at least look like we're a talk show or a podcast. You do that like every time.
What the hell did you just do?
Anyway, we'll do the rest of this thing. Today, we're going to work on...
Tomorrow War.
Yes, we're going to talk about Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt. Give it. What's the rundown? What was this movie about?
Soldiers from the future come back in time to get soldiers to go back into the future to fight a war they are losing.
That was good. I like that.
That was good, yeah.
Mr. Movie Voice really has to watch his back. That's good.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, that pretty much sums it up. So, that's it. Thanks for joining us on the podcast. There's a little more to discuss. We're
going to do a spoiler-free beginning, so... when we're going to do spoilers, we'll announce it so you can go and watch the movie and then come back and watch the rest of this.
First of all, if you people have been laying under a rock, this is not a film release. This was actually an Amazon movie release, right?
Prime,
correct.
Sold to Prime by Paramount.
Paramount. It was actually supposed to be a movie release originally.
I actually, and I know we're going to be a spoiler-free opening. I'll try to keep it that way, but I almost think this was so much better as a Prime release than a cinematic release.
Yes,
yeah, I think I'm
agree.
tipping my hat a little there.
But it was, I found it entertaining.
Yes.
There were some aspects of the movie that I have complaints about, but
plot holes,
yes. Definitely.
That you could drive a truck through.
Yeah. Same with most movies that deal with time travel, but there was a couple extra ones here.
You know what though? I gotta say, the time travel stuff is obvious. You can pick apart any time travel movie, and unless you're like Stephen Hawking, you're gonna find stuff that's. I think just even basic stuff in this movie was like, why it. Yeah. You know what this reminded me of, and we'll do a deeper dive a little bit further on the podcast. But the one thing this always reminded me of was Independence Day with Will Smith. Okay,
as you say that.
Did I?
No. Under Rotten Tomatoes, it was one of the guys that was writing for it gave it Independence Day ripoff.
Yeah,
that's basically what he said.
But the problem is they didn't just rip off like the good stuff. They ripped off the stuff that was problematic with ID4. Yeah. The one thing that leaps to mind. And if you haven't seen Independence Day with Will Smith, yes, there's going to be spoilers, but that came out, like 96? So
also, if you haven't seen it, Ray put a quick review of it just recently for 4th of July. Oh, yeah. So you might want to watch that too. Go back and watch that video.
Review?
Yeah, that was quality. But seriously, and my point in that mini podcast, if you will, was very, very poignant to this thing, is that they had this spaceship in ID4, in Independence Day. They had this spaceship for 50 years or whatever, before these aliens invaded, and they found out all this stuff about it, but they never got it to turn on until the aliens showed up. But then all of a sudden they're able to
drive it,
interact with it with laptops, download viruses into it. We can't even get Mac and PC to talk, but we're talking to alien technologies with a $200 Lenovo laptop. Are you?
And you had a flip phone back then too.
Right, but so anyway, to the point of the Tomorrow War, this thing adopted a lot of those really really bad plot holes that didn't need to be there. Like sometimes you just, time travel, you kind of paint yourself into a corner, or you need to skip over something because you're trying to get the story. But a lot of these plot holes could have been avoided with some very simple, like, dialogue or just shot it just slightly different. But I don't know.
Going into it, it was one of those, I kept going by it on Prime going, do I want to watch this? I really don't. I tend not to like futuristic alien movies. I just don't.
You like alien movies in the past, like Cowboys and Aliens?
Yeah. No, I mean,
I liked that movie. That was a shitty movie.
Definitely entertaining.
That was a shitty movie that was actually entertaining. But anyway, go on.
I'm just mean about, humans, people coming to the
So
Earth.
you don't. Futuristic movie about aliens. So you don't like Alien.
So it's not your,
They're
your genre?
They're in space. I'm talking about them coming to Earth. And
So we can go
overwhelming the
see
Earth and
Hold
stuff.
on, we can go see aliens. You just don't want them coming.
I don't
here.
want them coming here.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sounds kind of xenophobic, but whatever.
Futuristic ones.
But let's get back to the original. Okay, so it's a science teacher who is a veteran who had 2 tours in Iraq, I believe. Oops, I shouldn't say that. Miss Marine got mad at me for saying that.
Because he's a school teacher.
Oh, and ladies, this one's for you. 14 minutes and 2 seconds in, Chris Pratt goes shirtless. My wife wanted me to put that in there.
Jeez.
So there you go, ladies.
So for the ladies, something for the ladies at least. There you go. Yeah. And he's in pretty good form. He's not in chubby Parks and Rec form.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
he's in pretty good form. So one thing I will give credit to, how the movie kind of gave you Dan Forrester's backstory was sort of original, at least. He's in the middle of, in the beginning of the movie, there's a Christmas party, and they're all at his house.
Watching soccer.
And so he's actually on the phone with the people he's trying to land a job with, which is at like some defense contract. It was a government job or something.
Yeah.
He wants to be a real scientist now, not just a,
Science teacher.
not just an 8th grade science teacher. And so he's kind of, talking out his resume with these people online. So it was kind of a neat way to just info dump.
Yeah. Introduce the character without just
completely bogging it down.
Yeah.
I thought the acting was good. I thought Chris Pratt, there was a couple heartstring moments. There was J.K. Simmons, or like I'd like to call him in this movie, Jack J. Jonah Jameson. He beefy.
Yeah, he was ripped, man. Old guy was ripped.
Throughout the movie, I'm going, what do I know this guy from? How do I know him? I know he's an actor. I know he's done a ton of stuff. And I mentioned it to you, and you listed off.
Every movie. Batman, Spider-Man, Oz. He was in... Yeah, Oz. He played the...
Played the white supremacist
in Oz.
And then he says, the farmer's commercial.
The farmer's commercials.
Oh, that's right. He has the beard now. I get, okay.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. There you go. Free plug, guys.
Yeah. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Again, it was an entertaining movie. Mm-hmm. There was some good acting and good heartstring pulls there with Chris Pratt and his young daughter.
I think the acting pulled through the plot holes in the story.
Yes.
I think it's... That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I don't know how some of these marquee actors didn't see the initial script and go, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Really? Oh, yeah.
But
language.
Sorry, are you kidding me?
Apparently, they're in for a sequel. Just telling you.
But they killed them all, or is it a prequel?
Oh, and we'll get into spoilers now.
Sorry.
And the cast
spoilers start now.
And the cast is supposed to return.
Okay. I thought the aliens, the CGI, the actually first scene where you see the aliens. Now this is definitely going into spoilers. We're going to start talking about the whole movie. So if you haven't seen it, it really doesn't matter. Just keep watching.
Watch it. No, but either way, even though we're kind of like iffy about it, watch the movie.
It's definitely entertaining.
It's an entertaining
But
movie.
when you first get that scene where the aliens are above them and they go,
and they make that stairwell.
Yeah.
It was actually.
When you first actually physically see the alien.
Well, to me, that's the less is more theorem. Like,
like Jaws.
Jaws, but not to get on a tangent, but Jaws was more accidental. They were having so many problems with the mechanical shark,
that
it actually worked out.
Yeah.
But I actually think of the Mel Gibson movie Signs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't
God.
even see the alien till the end.
Till the end.
And
it was
man,
first
it was
in-
such a, and it was
It was kind of a letdown.
It was a big letdown.
Yes, but it was first through the reflection on Signs.
But up until then, because the human mind can
Yes.
create more scary images than any
Yeah.
reality could ever produce. Just seeing glimpses of stuff up the stairwell, because just to kind of dive into the story, they're sent on a mission and they're kind of
in the future.
and we'll talk about how they get there. But they're kind of looking up the stairwell, and so you kind of see glimpses of it just in like flashlight lights, and that's definitely a cool way to introduce them.
Okay, well, we're kind of jumping around. Let's try to get a little bit form. Like, let's start at the beginning.
Focus!
All right. So there.
Wait, us jump around? That never happens. Damn the discipline around here. Sorry, go ahead.
All right,
but
Marine, show us the way.
No, well, we'll start out where we were talking about.
Soccer?
God, she wasn't in the movie.
No.
Unless those aliens ripped her apart, that'd been great. But let's see. Yeah, no. Well, they started a
opening
Christmas
scene.
party.
Yeah.
He's trying to. The soccer's in the background.
Yep.
And then all hell breaks loose because like a big vortex opens up and people from the future spill out onto
In the middle of the
soccer
field.
pitch.
Yep. In Brazil, because it was the blue and yellow, blah, blah, blah. They were in a foreign country.
Okay.
And they appear in the middle of the field,
Fully armed, by the
fully
way.
armed. Soccer players stop. All play stops. And what are they? They're speaking English. Why are they speaking English and everyone seems to understand them?
Because English is the most important language on the planet, damn it.
And yeah, if
Just
you're going to
made-
speak,
it made no sense.
why wouldn't they come in the middle of the Super Bowl?
Right.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to interrupt the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's why, and nobody cares about soccer.
Wait, to be fair, though, if they came in the middle of the Super Bowl halftime show, we'd probably cheer.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead. You were saying.
No, I just, they come in, they're speaking English,
Yeah.
but they're carrying weapons. They could have been terrorists that figured out how to make a portal to jump from one spot to another. And
Right. If you were coming from, I don't care if you're coming from a future place or coming from Trenton, New Jersey. If you're coming to ask people for help, you don't come with fully armed, semi-automatic rifles. They'd be like, ugh.
And it was only how many years? 28 years?
28 years in the future.
28 years. And for some reason, we know how to jump back and forth through time through 28 years of.
Anyway, they come back and ask for our help. They want people from the past to jump forward into the future and fight this war.
We are you. That's one of the comments there.
Yeah, we are you.
Yeah.
Which just really throws it out of whack. I'm like, why do they come back here and ask us to jump forward in time to help them instead of saying, "Hey, this is what's going to happen. Let's work together so we can stop it. We know where the aliens are when they first appear. This is what happens." But no, they don't. They start zipping people into the future that are not going to be alive at that point. We find out that they've all are going to be dead or something.
And they're all drafted.
They're all drafted. Yeah,
which actually the
a
original
worldwide draft.
Worldwide draft, and the original name for the movie was called Ghost Draft. That's what it was written as, a Ghost
Look
Draft.
at you.
I would have watched that movie. Oh, wait. First of all, yes, that is the first big, gigantic plot hole. Like, why don't you jump back and spend the 30 years you have to formulate a better plan than taking people from the past to be cannon fodder, essently.
Yeah, because they're taking people between the ages of 30 and like 60.
Yeah.
It's like, and people that aren't going to have any more kids that they know of. I guess that's part of the thing too.
And I guess they chew through people with military experience very quickly, and they start grabbing like housewives and school teachers.
Yeah, random people.
And it's like I don't know why anybody, like, they start rioting in the past about this draft, and I'm like, I don't know why they would go in the first place. Yeah. Like, hi, we've come from the future. We want you to all just be canon. We're getting killed. We want you guys to be killed now too. Like,
and we're not gonna.
Like, is that your plan? Like,
we're not gonna train you either.
Yeah, we're losing. Yeah. Oh, that makes me want to go jump in the future.
We just need more bodies to throw at these aliens.
Well, but you know what? It speaks to our governments being that stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
the world governments, not just the United States government.
No, that's true. But to your point, yeah, they don't even train them. So like, there's the one scene where Sam Richardson, who's kind of the comic relief, he does a good job. But
yes, no, for him, he's originally known for Veep, with Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Right. So Sam Richardson's in it, and he's one of these guys who's obviously never even seen a gun. He doesn't even know which way the magazine goes in.
Yeah, and his character reminded me of Gump. Bubba. Benjamin
Gump.
Buford.
But that's the thing that kills me. It's like, I mean, yeah, you don't have time to train these guys up to, like, full army boot camp level or something. But you can at least tell them which way the freaking magazine goes in the gun.
Yeah. Or week 1 of boot camp of Marines.
The other thing I was thinking of, and not to get too much into the minutia of the weapons, but beyond the fact that it's 30 years in the future and they still don't have any better weapons than apparently we have, there's a lot of like AKs and a couple of these semi-automatic and automatic stuff. But the one guy who's been through, I think they say it's his third tour is what's his name, Dorian.
Dorian, played by Edward Hodge.
Yes, he's
Edwin Hodge.
He's the only smart one. He's walking around with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you got a bunch of people who have never fired a gun before.
Yeah, but aim and shoot.
Yeah, I mean,
spray
everywhere.
Right. I mean, first of all, they're probably going to shoot somebody on their own. There's going to be so many friendly fire incidents, it's ridiculous. But at least give them a shotgun, so they got a prayer to hit what they're supposed to be hitting.
Oh, and then when they finally jump to the future, you see them jump to the future. They jump, they fall from forever up, and they drop them from the sky on accident. Oh, it's the wrong spot. Yeah. If they've got a spot here and a spot here, like how does that happen? Like you're supposed to be jumping from one spot to the other spot. They end up dropping them from, and Chris Pratt just happens not to get splatted on the side of the pool. He hits a pool on the top of a building.
A short movie.
Yeah. But I guess that was a mix-up within the system of their time travel. Yeah. They were supposed to only fall like 15 feet or whatever it was, and they were folding like...
Which is still a pretty good...
1,500 feet.
15 feet is still a pretty good drop, by the way.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're landing on.
Yeah, and not knowing where you're landing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so if you can ignore the giant plot holes of why we didn't do something in the past, and we enjoy the giant plot holes of why we're sending a bunch of untrained people to be cannon fodder into the future...
Okay, so
now we have Dan Forrester, our main character, Chris Pratt, on top of a building in Miami Beach, cobbling together a unit of, assistant janitors.
Assistant janitors. What's his name? Scientist.
Yes.
Sam
Richardson.
Sam Richardson. Sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's another thing just to stop by. Like, if you're going to do cannon fodder for people.
Why have scientists?
Well, why do you have really smart scientists? Like, don't you need those people? Like,
let's figure out how to kill.
I think we can find a better use for him than just slowing down a
unit.
Yeah.
But before that, we meet J.K. Simmons, who plays James Forrester Sr.
Yeah.
Former Vietnam vet who is very anti-government and is working to get people out of the draft.
Yes.
And Chris Pratt is because
he's a smart one.
Yeah. So Chris Pratt is his son, and they have a very iffy relationship because J.K. Simmons' character, Dad, left the family because he had PTSD, which is a very real problem. And he didn't want to hurt his wife at the time or his son, so he took himself out of the situation so he wouldn't go hurt them. And Forrester, the character by Chris Pratt, just really didn't care what his reasonings were. He could have got help, he said. He done a bunch of other stuff. So there was like a little heartstring pull there with his father and his relationship with his father, because he tells him, "You'll never meet, my daughter Mary." Mary?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. There was that whole scene where he's about to take off, and he gets... he goes to his daughter. He's like, "I'll be back," and he's like, "Get you right there." And his daughter's getting his daughter into science also. Like, and that sets up for the future.
Yeah, because it just shows the relationship that he had with his daughter, and then the split relationship he had with his father.
Exactly.
And it was
And then jump to the future. Spoilers. His daughter is leading the world military to fight these creatures, which are called the White Spikes. Very, very awesome name. What should we call them? I don't know. They shoot spikes at their tail, and they're white. White spikes. Yeah.
Right off the bat, that sets up another, like, what's going on here thing, because all the people they're sending are people that have died in the past.
Yes.
So they're not going to accidentally create, like, a time paradox by running, like, into themselves. Or
time paradox.
And everyone in the future that came back wasn't born yet.
Yeah, so they send back young people,
Yep.
and they send older people that are going to be dead by the time.
Yeah.
Just so you don't run into yourself or your children or something. So what happens?
He runs into his
Yeah.
daughter.
He runs right into her daughter. Now, this is the part I can't get. At some points, it seems like it was an intentional move,
Yes.
and at some points, it seems like it was an accidental move. Like when he first lands on the rooftop in Miami, and she's acting like, you know, and she might be play acting for her coworkers, but she's acting like, okay, Dan Forrester, I see here you have military training. You know, you're going to be my lead guy. So she's acting like she doesn't know. Again, she could be play acting for him. But then the first thing she does is send him into what is probably almost a suicide mission.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
So if he's like this super important person and the only person on the planet she trusts, that we'll talk about that later, like, wouldn't you immediately get him out of danger?
Let's put him in the Death March.
And not to mention, she's played by Yvonne Strahovski from Chuck. I might have just mangled her name, but she's hot.
Oh yeah, and if you
I love her in Chuck. She's always got that girl next door.
If you haven't seen the TV show Chuck, that was a '90s show too, right?
Yeah.
'90s,
Chuck?
early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. They had flip phones, and then it evolved into the.
But
iPhone.
that was a good show too. Anyway.
Very good show.
And yeah, she was hot, and she's still
Yes.
hot.
Yes.
She's got she's always got that girl next door look. I always thought,
Yeah.
Like, especially from Chuck when she had her pigtails in doing the the wiener sales
The
girl.
wiener, yeah. But so that's the one thing.
But I digress.
So that's the one thing that annoyed me. Like, either way, it made no sense. So, like, if you're play acting that you don't know him, but you know he's really important, then
why would you put
protect him?
Yeah,
don't send him into the suicide mission, because that's. But if she doesn't know who he is right away, then, like, why does she care? Why does she care so much, like, down the line, that he's like the most important person?
Yeah, because it's still her dad, and she knows. She always knew. I think she was play acting.
She knew.
I think she knew.
But also the whole. She wanted to see her dad, and she said, "Oh, that's not why I brought you here. You're important to me, and I need you to, I need you to do these things." And we're
I think that part is a bullshit.
It's all bullshit. She wanted to see her.
She wanted to tell off her dad that abandoned her family.
Yeah.
So apparently, the story goes, the Chris Pratt character leaves the daughter and the mother in the future.
After they come back, he comes back not the same, and she's mad at him for that, and that's another part of the reason she's mad, because like he comes back and then they get more distant, just like his father.
Yep.
So it's like history repeating itself. But then,
which they don't show any of this; they just talk about
They
it.
talk about it,
yeah.
But, and I got to say this, I'm married, so I'm used to getting in trouble for stuff I didn't know I did, but that's got to be the weirdest thing. Like, you're a loving dad, and you
love your daughter.
You love your daughter. If nothing else, you love your daughter. You love your wife, but you definitely they definitely showed the rapport early on with him.
Oh, yeah.
His daughter.
Like him asking her science questions, and obviously that sets her up for the future of leading this coalition.
But it's like, then she kind of unloads on him in the future about something in his mind he hasn't even done.
Doesn't even know, yeah.
He's like, you left us. He's like, I think his first word is bullshit. I think, I wouldn't do that. Bullshit.
I would never do that, yeah.
Like, so imagine just coming into the future just to get yelled at. Like, I'm trying to save the world. I'm still getting shit on. What the fuck?
Well, and then that does set up the best quote from the movie. I got it right here on a note card. I'm not a hero. I was just trying to save my daughter. If I gotta save the world to do that, then I'm damn sure gonna do it. Not exactly John Wayne, but it was a pretty good line.
That was a good line.
The one thing I gotta say though is, like, they fly in and out of all these hot zones with impudence. Like, obviously these white spike things don't fly. So, like,
oh no, they do. Didn't you see them? They glide.
No, they glide.
They did glide.
Well, they had jets that were coming through for bombing. Why wouldn't they just do that first?
Well,
all the time.
Yeah.
They have F-22s which there was actually an interesting thing I read. One of the guys that was flying the F-22 was a real fighter pilot, and he was from Tampa, and he thought it was, Florida rivalry. He thought it was a cool thing to get to bomb Miami.
Well, it's because the Dolphins suck.
Yeah, but
Go Bills.
The air power seemed, for the most part, unchallenged.
Yeah. It was open skies.
Why don't we just have some guys with miniguns on helicopters? Oh, if you need to have a group on the ground, at least give them some air cover. Do something. Jesus.
Well, apparently, they go to sleep.
A-10 warthogs hit little.
Well, they go to sleep, and apparently they wake up at a certain time or a certain day, and they're like, well, why don't we just do it then?
When they're asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just nuke their nest or something.
I don't know.
Instead of trying to find some.
Oh, and again with the nest, it's a queen. The ultimate woman, female is the toughest thing, and all the males go to protect her, kind of like taken from Aliens.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Chris Pratt comes back. He's a science teacher. He's not a big scientist. He's a science teacher that wants to get more into science, more into science part of it. Him and an 8th grader and figure out where because of the medallion that what's his name keeps.
Yeah, Dorian had a claw as a souvenir around his neck. So they analyze it to find out where this thing has been.
This volcanic rock was on the. Why was it? They were in China when we first saw him. How is there volcanic rock from? They find out it's because of a 8th grader. He tells them, "Oh, that's because of the way the
millennial explosion." The millennial.
Yeah. An 8th grader figured out. All the greatest scientists in the world that have been working on this thing for 2 years couldn't figure out where these aliens came from. Hey, here's a little tip: if there was no big ship in the sky or a meteor crash when they first arrived, maybe they've been here the whole time, dumbasses. But if you just want a movie, if you want a movie to just lose your mind and just don't think about it, watch aliens kill people and people kill aliens. It's not a bad movie to watch.
Acting was good.
Acting was definitely good.
Acting was good. Acting brought you through the movie.
Especially from Betty Gillian, who played Liberty Bell on Glow. Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. The Netflix
Betty
show.
Gillian?
She plays the wife.
Oh, she plays the wife.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
She, there was a couple good heartstring pulls from her.
Yeah.
But she plays, if you haven't watched Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling on Netflix, it's a TV series. It was actually pretty good.
All right. But, I guess I sort of agree, but if I'm just looking for a mindless war movie, there's so many better ones.
There's a lot.
There. I tried watching this again because I watched it first just because my family actually likes disaster movies, so we got together to watch it as a family. And then these guys said, "Hey, we should do a review of it," and I'm like, maybe I should actually pay attention this time. So I went to watch it again, and I was like,
well, I passed over it.
Bored.
Passed over it, and then you watched it and said, let's do a review on it. So I watched it, and entertaining as I watched it. But
all the movies and stuff and shows that I tell him to watch that he doesn't watch, he picks this one to actually listen to me. Like he hasn't watched Stranger Things, but he watched this one.
Son of a bitch!
But anyway, I'll tell you one thing that isn't boring. Our great podcast. Yeah. So make sure to like, subscribe.
Yes.
Hit this. There's going to be a button over here to watch one of our other ones.
Yes.
It's probably better than this one.
Also, one great thing about this movie. One.
Hold on, we got
excellent thing.
What?
This is important.
Very important. Tara Reid's not in it.
Tara Reid's not in it. Tara Reid's no Tara Reid's. Yay!
But I do give it a 3 on the Tara Reid scale.
Yeah, 3.5.
Thanks for watching. Click the next one.
Please like and watch our other ones and comment.
Yeah.
Say something about this.
Give us some suggestions of what movies you'd like us to watch.
Yep.
Yeah, because we're left to our own devices, man. It just gets ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we start making cards.
Yeah. We will watch Steve Martin.
Yeah, we
got to pick one.
Yeah, we got to do that. Who was Johnny Carson?
No,
David Letterman.
David Letterman. Sorry. Good.
Nice shot.
That's it. All right.